Welcome to Trailblazers and Coffee, your podcast for elevating women in leadership, with your hosts Dr. Christina Pecora and Dr. Abby Brown.
Hey listeners, Christina here. I recorded this next interview with our first guest of international acclaim in between her very important meetings, and I didn't really get a chance to give her a proper introduction, so allow me to sing her praises before this episode gets going. Nathalie Jalabert is a lawyer and single mother, bringing her dedication and heart to both aspects of her life's work. She works in antitrust and competition law at both the European and French levels, standing for justice against abuses of dominance, overseeing mergers, and negotiating state aid and public procurement. With colleagues and her daughters, she knows when to give advice and opinions and when to let such situations play out to their natural consequences. She is honored and respected in judicial as well as friend circles. And I can tell you, she knows how to order a mean pizza. So please enjoy Nathalie's interview. Listeners, today I am sitting here in the presence of Nathalie Jalabert, who is an expert in international law. Nathalie, welcome to Trailblazers and Coffee. We are so honored to have you.
Thank you, Christina. I'm the one to be honored.
Oh my goodness. So silly. But no, it's wonderful to be in your presence, to hear as we sit in a hotel in Rome, Italy, like just such a special time. Nathalie, don't be nervous, but tell me about today. Like, what blazer are you wearing? What's your blazer mood?
Well, Christina, we're in Rome, right?
Yes.
And we're in September. The weather should be fair. The sun is starting to show. Yes. So a light blouse, linen, and a light blazer as well. That's probably telling my mood today. And I'll be moving to Madrid later today. So that's the adapted outfit. Awesome. Speaking in conferences today and tomorrow. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It's perfect. Yeah, no, you have to be flexible. You're traveling.
Yeah. Traveling.
You are a leader in your field, which means that you go all over the place. But your home really is in France.
In France, and I also very often travel to Brussels because I'm working both in the Brussels and the Paris office. More often in Paris, but still. So yeah, traveling in Europe. You know, us Europeans travel just as the Americans do within their own country.
Sure. Super easy. But therefore, you have to have flexible and non-wrinkled fabrics, I'm sure.
Indeed. Flexible is the most important. And because we're running from, very early in the morning till night. So that's the most important. We keep the most delicate clothing for parties when we're at home, right. That kind of occasions.
Absolutely understood. My mood today is definitely, I'm feeling the white, lightweight something or other for something outside because it is gorgeously sunny and a little bit humid. So then also, what's in your cup today? How are you powering this high-powered day you're going to have?
Well, Italian coffee for sure. What else?
For sure.
What else here? We have one in the room, and I even had my breakfast downstairs. So yeah, I'm rather a tea drinker in the morning.
Okay.
But I made an exception here, and that's also why I enjoy traveling. Changing your habits, it's good, because otherwise, you kind of feel like a robot doing the same thing. Gaining every 2 seconds you can in your day, being as efficient as possible. When I travel, it's different, and in a way, there's a bit of more time for me, and to change things. Just walking to the conference center here is a delight.
Yeah, no, it's particularly special. I know that I've already had a doppio espresso, and I'm sure that another one is on the way, and that's just kind of the treats that we give ourselves when traveling. But it also sounds to me, Nathalie, like part of this sense of difference or change or welcoming kind of that flexibility or adventure is what makes you good at your job. Do you think that that's true?
Well, I hope so, because it's what I like.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy. When I started in this business, I've always wanted to be in international law because I wanted to travel to meet people, talk different languages. That's really part of the game for me. Being behind a computer for 16 hours a day is not what brought me into this.
Right.
It's part of it, but that's not what brought me into this. So these exchanges and travels are super important for me, and definitely it must, it provides a wider, scale and ability to address issues and to solve them. We also have international clients. So when I'm advising US clients, I need to be, to understand a little bit the culture. I spent some time in my life in the US, so when I was a kid I would go there every summer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and we talked about the Midwest, and especially in the Midwest.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I can bring in on top of all what is necessary to do that business, for sure.
Right. And I know that I mentioned it in the bio, but, tell me a little bit about your journey to find your niche in the law, but also in leadership.
Well, it's been a path. What I would say it wasn't the fastest path. I think it was a woman's path.
Okay.
To leadership, to success, and to leadership, because I remember when I started, people would ask me, "What's your ambition? What do you want to be 5 years from now?"
Yeah.
And the answers we would give the women associates was very different from the male associates.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Male associates would say, "I'm going to be a partner in this law firm or another law firm," and they would just strive for it and succeed.
Okay.
My immediate answer was, well, I'm just starting. I will first try to become a very good lawyer, and we'll see what comes next. But let's not put, the carriage before, I suppose you have that in English, before the animals.
Cart before the horse, yep.
Before the horse. So step one for me is to be good at what I decided to do. So I'm going to train and be as good as an antitrust lawyer as I can be. And probably my path has been longer than that of a number of male colleagues, I'm sure. But I'm fine with it because I think it's the right way to address things. And it's probably, the resilience of us women that made me cautious. I can be, bold when I handle matters, but for my career, I've tried to make sound decisions, and I'm not changing law firms every 2 years, that kind of thing. So, yeah, probably a longer path, but I think I made it where I wanted to be, and I still have a lot to go for before me.
Yeah,
it's not the end of it, and I'm sure I will see a number of additional evolutions, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's so exciting. I love how you're talking about the things that you've accomplished and then also the things that you have set before you. Doesn't really matter in the end if it's a longer path, it's your path. And
indeed.
Are you enjoying it?
Very much so.
Okay.
And it's important to have challenges, to have overcome and to succeed in challenges, and to still have some before you.
Yeah.
Not to consider that you're there. And that's what I want to for the next 15 years, let's say.
Okay. Yep. That's a nice round number. Can you talk about some of those challenges and how you overcame them?
In legal practice, you can imagine that this is quite a stressful activity with a lot of pressure. As you mentioned, I'm an antitrust lawyer, so the fines incurred are very significant. If a big merger fails because merger clearance is not obtained the same, so a lot of stress and pressure. But that's many others face similar situations. I think the most important challenge for me, the one I would like to tell you more about, is in leadership.
Yes.
Because that was not necessarily natural in me, and I don't know if you can get leadership courses and significant helpful leadership courses. But what's sure is that in law studies in Europe, you don't receive any of these.
Sure. Not part of the practical skills that they teach you.
Definitely not. And so it was you can see people sometimes. One of my girls is a natural leader, and so it's natural. I had to learn it, and in this profession, you need to learn it as you're still progressing in the legal practice. So that's pretty tough. But I think I worked my way, with time and effort to try to become a good leader for my team. First, I think that's the first leadership role we have, and then in the firm, leadership as well.
Yeah. Are there specific skills that you say that you're really good at that are your leadership skills?
Well, I think enthusiasm is key. That's maybe not the answer you expected.
That's all right.
But I think to be a leader, you need to be enthusiastic. And because that's what makes people, follow you and want to develop similar skills and follow their own path, but similarly progress in leadership. So enthusiasm and certainly fairness would be the two most important qualities for me, because people watch how you make decisions and if you're being fair. And so that's why at least I try to be good at as best as possible.
Were either of those hard for you to develop?
No, not that much. You see, leadership and, bringing people to me and train them, and I had to work on it, to work on myself. That I think was pretty natural for me, but obviously always to be improved. You can always do better.
Absolutely. Yes, I think that's part of the thing that we're hearing from a lot of leaders is that you can always do better, and we're working on that.
And experience matters so much, so that's what also makes you better on these two fronts. I'm convinced about it, so yes. I continue that way.
For sure. I love to hear the experience word. I think it's something that women especially talk about in terms of taking time with your career, getting good at it, and then working on your leadership skills. That's kind of the stepwise progression instead of thinking about it from like the start to the end, as many men do still. It's kind of a traditional way that they think about it. Is there a principle or a belief of leadership that you adhere to or that informs how you get up in the morning or how you are with your team?
Okay. I try to be, as I think I mentioned that earlier on, I try to be bold.
Yes.
But always, that brings us back to what you're saying. Watching my back and preparing. And indeed, I think that's very much a women way of approaching things.
Yes.
Because failure is immediate.
Yeah.
And not just from men, also from women, I think there's no error possible, or we pay it double. That's my experience as well. So whenever I go in for a battle, I prepare as much as I can.
Yeah.
That would be probably my leadership motto or approach.
Yeah. Prepare for battle.
Indeed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You talk about it as a battle.
Well, law is kind of a constant battle. It's part of the game, and sometimes we call ourselves mercenaries.
Okay.
Because even when it's not in a litigation, clients come and want you to, whatever it takes, take their matter and bring it out the best as possible. Yeah. So yeah. We have a lot of army words in this profession.
That's okay. We also have a lot of army words. Just I think in women leadership, kind of got to think about it like that. There was a question that I was thinking of when you were talking, and you were talking about going into battle. Has anyone ever underestimated you as a woman in your profession?
I think this happened often.
Often?
Yeah. Probably a bit less nowadays, because when you've been working in an environment, after a few years everybody starts to know you or know your reputation, And so that helps. So less and less, but this has happened to me very often. But to go back to the army words, that's where you have a good chance to win the battle when people underestimate you. So at first, it's not a very nice thing to experience, but when you transform it and you're able to win because you've been underestimated, that's a good way to go for success. And I'm left-handed.
Okay.
And I've always counted on that. I've done fencing for probably a bit more than 10 years. And I could count on the surprise element when I was fencing.
Sure.
The person in front of me was not as ready to face a left-handed person as a right-handed person.
Right.
And that element of surprise is something I learned to capitalize on.
Yeah.
And so I've been accustomed to it, and I'm fine with it.
Sure.
But this happens less and less. We're a very small environment. People know each other. So
Yeah. Your reputation precedes you now.
Well,
hopefully.
let's stay modest and humble. I don't want to be the one underestimating others.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I keep my feet on the ground
Yeah.
and move forward.
That's a very balanced approach. We talk often on this podcast, but also, just in conversation about the difficulties of the challenges, but there are benefits. What do you enjoy about being a woman leader, either in your profession or just in general? What do you enjoy about your reputation?
Well, I enjoy having made it, and we're not so numerous. That's not the nice part, that we're not so numerous, but it's a reality. And well, I'm proud. I was the first equity partner in the Paris office.
Wow.
Of my firm.
Yeah.
And when I became an equity partner, there were already over a dozen men equity partners.
Wow.
And so it was something.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud of this development. It took a lot, but I made it, and I'm also proud to have run that career. And in parallel, I have 2 girls. I've been a single mom for now something like 13 years.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm chasing every second I can spare.
Yeah.
Because I want time for both of these important missions and important developments for me, but also a bit of time for me, such as the one we're having right now,
Yes.
that I enjoy. Being in Rome just before walking to the conference is great. So I chase every second to spare it.
That sounds both like a challenge, but also enjoyable to you. You're speaking about it, and listeners, you can't see Nathalie's face, but it is very enthusiastic and it's very warm, and it looks like you actually enjoy chasing the seconds.
Yeah, well, with a few years of practice, you start to, it's natural, and you master the exercise, and so when I advise clients or when I represent them in court, what's very important for me is to build trust, to see that they see I keep a cool head, that everything's under control. And that's what clients come to me for. And it's the same in my family role, sound, but that calls for a lot of organization and chasing this every second, as I said. So I enjoy that. And I don't think I could do something different at the moment. I love it.
Good. That's the most important part, that the effort is worth it because you love it. We were at dinner last night, we were talking about, some generational differences. What would you tell up-and-coming women lawyers who maybe don't understand the chasing the seconds, don't understand the process that you have been through to get to the good stuff?
Well, I'm thinking of 2 things. First, be bold, and that generation knows how to be bold much better than we did some time ago. Be bold, but work. Yeah. So that's the first thing, but we already mentioned that. I think young people kind of think they can have it both ways, and have the benefits of everything, but not spend the time and effort that we did. So that would be my first advice. Be prepared to work as hell to make it. And I think as a woman, even more so. And the second is probably you deserve it, so go for it. Well, it's kind of the same idea. I don't know, it came to say two things. Oh yeah, no, that was my other idea. Reach out to other women. I think it's something we, men also have as an instinct to help each other make it. Whereas, probably because it's been difficult for us, it's kind of a solitary path.
Yeah.
And I fought, again, the army words. I fought very much. I have fought a lot against myself, watching other women progress in leadership in the firm. And sometimes I was a bit tough also on them, thinking, well, they should do better, they should prepare better. But we should refrain from doing that. And so I'm fighting with myself to support women as much as I can. As I said, we're not numerous, so the elder needs to be really supportive and not criticize the way they have been criticized or, on their part. But also, I think I haven't reached out enough when I was younger to older women in the business to help me, because calling for help is also something we don't like doing, I think.
Sure.
Generally speaking, we want to show we're an Atta girl, and we can do it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's also something. Get help and help others.
I love that. It resonates with me so much. In our profession, we have mentors and professors and things like that, but is that a message that other people, other than yourself, get in your profession or even as a woman?
Well, it progresses slowly but surely, and we have put in place a mentoring program in our office in Paris.
Awesome.
And the first step of that mentoring program, we decided to consider as a priority to do some women mentoring within the office. So I'm mentoring a younger associate from the M&A department, and I think it's a good idea. Now, obviously, that's only the first step, and so we will open it more widely, because I think it's important not to remain among women.
Right.
But we thought the first step was a priority one, and you may consider, especially with USIs, that we're starting late.
Yes.
Definitely the legal environment in Europe is kind of, a bit old-fashioned.
Oh, okay.
So it took time. Mentoring is something that really wasn't, it was done on an everyday basis, working on matters, but just within your team, working with the partner you work for. It's very good that we do it across practices.
Sure.
So we started that only recently, and I enjoy it.
Great idea. Great idea.
What makes me the most proud in what I've accomplished so far is, I don't know if that translates well in English, but it's transmission to younger generation, passing on and training people and see what they became and how good they are now is really... That's really my best pride. So yes, mentoring is also part of it.
Absolutely. And I'm sitting here with you, and your energy is so positive. I'm sure that your mentees are also receiving that, in addition to the be prepared for battle messages.
Yeah, I'm not. I know what it takes, but I, as we said, I love it, and I think it's worth it. Definitely worth it.
For sure.
So yeah, I try to give that energy around, and I still have a lot to offer.
Oh, I'm so excited to just sit here with you and bask in this amazing energy. And I'm gonna take your stories with me throughout the day and just think about them. Is there anything I didn't ask you today that you want to say or that you want to be asked?
I think I mentioned it. It's about my girls.
Yeah.
And I know it's a challenge for many women to handle both. And we had one of our counsels, not in the antitrust team, not in my team, but in the arbitration team, a few weeks ago decided to quit.
Oh.
After 11 years of practice, because she couldn't manage running her career and her family life all together, and having the impression that she neglected both in a way. So she decided to quit. That's terrible, and I wish we do not lose so many of our female colleagues because of that reason. So I want to say, you can make it. That's what I try to do, and I refer to the fact that I've been a single mom for quite some time. And I remember my first thought when this occurred was that I just wondered whether I could continue in that business, considering what it calls for in terms of engagement and energy and everything. I wasn't sure I could maintain it, and I've made it. And so I want to say it's possible, and it's an organization problem more than anything else. I'm very happy that the council I'm referring to didn't continue working and being torn with too many constraints and precisely losing that enthusiasm. So I think she made the right decision. But my hope is that more and more women succeed making it and being enthusiastic on both sides without suffering. And that's what, if I want to be the role model for something, it will be that.
Sure. And that brings a question to my mind, because as you mentioned, it's an organizational issue. So when you think about creating an organization that is more welcoming to women who are struggling, what is needed in those environments? How do you change the system?
Well, I'm not sure what the younger generation wants. What the younger generations want is a solution. Working for 4 days a week from home. Sorry, I'm not giving the message.
Sure.
Many will be waiting. As I said, we are mercenaries. When there's a hearing to prepare, you can say, well, no, sorry, I have things to do.
Right.
It's my day off. We work on weekends in that profession. So my way to organize isn't by hiring more people to do the same level of work, because that doesn't work, and having part-time people. My answer to that is kind of demanding. I arrive in the office, everybody knows that in the Paris office, I arrive every morning in the office at 6:30 a.m. At latest. And that's the organization I found. I can work for at least 2 hours without being disturbed by anyone. And that's my recipe for success, among others, with chasing seconds where I can. And that's what works for me. I didn't succeed doing the part-time job.
Sure.
But that helps me. So I trained not to lose time. I trained not to sleep too much, but still enough to do my job right and to have time for both my family and myself.
Right. So your ability really here is to find that balance personally, to work within the system of what the legal profession demands. Is there anything about the system that you wish would change?
You took me by surprise on that one. There are many things we want to change. The thing I would want to change in our conversation that comes immediately to mind is that I want more women equity partners with me. I want more successful women with me. I still see too often, in conferences, 4 men speaking on stage.
Sure.
And that's a good thing the younger generation brought us. I would never have asked for that when I was a younger associate. In our office, women associate came to us with a charter, an equality charter for all types of diversity, and in particular asking that at least 30% of women are represented in all conferences we sponsor.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's something they think about every minute.
Yeah.
Sometimes our male partners don't even think about it, even today, and they don't have any issue appearing 3 on stage without any diversity. So we can do much more there.
We can do better with that, And then the point is, you have to make people think about it. You have to teach people how to think about it, because their default is just not to.
Yeah.
And
you're
to
right.
not be aware that it is even an issue. And the hope is to make it, once you raise their awareness, hopefully they will see. Yeah.
I think being women in the legal profession, we're kind of a minority, so you always think about it when you're in the minority.
Yes.
It takes a bit more time when you're in the majority.
Yes.
So clearly, this is also already progressing, Christina. To be fair,
Yeah.
but we can do more.
Sure. We can always work to better the opportunities for other women, for sure. Nathalie, how can we support you? How can we find and cheer you on in your profession, but also, are you on social media? How can people watch you succeed in this next stage of your career?
I am on social media, Christina, and I'd be happy to show the link for this podcast on my accounts. Now, I don't spend that much time on these social media as the new generations, and especially considering all the workload I have already with all these the cases and the leadership in the firm. But I do. I think it's very important, and I think you asked me what can you do at your level. I think this podcast is an excellent initiative, and that's precisely what Christina, you and Abby are doing, is exactly what we need to get the message across. And I'm sure it's a reason you do it, by the way.
Thank you.
So thanks to you for putting all these efforts, and please do continue and make sure that as many can have access to this podcast. I will give a little help by circulating it to my community.
Thank you.
And it was much pleasure. It was a very good conversation. It's also important, when you're not losing any second, sometimes just to sit down and think about these things and have that type of discussions with you. Your experience discussing with other women leaders is also very valuable to me.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And thank you again for being a part of how Abby and I are trying to support women. It's so important, and it is something that we can all do better at. So thank you for the compliments, and thank you for your time and your grace. And I'm happy to now call you an acquaintance and a fellow leader.
We're friends now.
Yes, we are.
So I hope I'll see you again in Rome or elsewhere. It will
Absolutely.
be with a lot of pleasure, Christina.
Me too.
And all the best to Abby, that I hope to meet one day.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely come visit us in Chicago.
Oh, thank you.
Open invitation.
Thank you.
Hi, listeners. Christina here with this month's Coffee Break for the Brain. I wanted to talk a bit about gratitude, especially in this season of giving, as we're all looking back on what happened to us in this past year. Gratitude is a highly recommended practice, and I'll tell you why. Gratitude significantly boosts mental wellness by reducing stress, anxiety, and depression, enhancing emotional resilience, improving sleep, strengthening relationships, and increasing overall happiness and life satisfaction. It shifts the focus from a lack to abundance and activates feel-good brain chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. It also fosters positivity, self-esteem, and hope, helping individuals cope better with challenges and cultivating deeper connections, acting as a powerful tool for psychological growth. Published in July 2024 in the Journal of the American Medical Association Psychiatry, a study drew on data from 49,275 women enrolled in the Nurses' Health Study. Their average age was 79, and in 2016, participants completed a 6-item gratitude questionnaire in which they ranked their agreement with statements such as, "I have so much in life to be thankful for," and "If I had to list everything I felt grateful for, it would be a very long list." 4 years later, in 2020, researchers combed through participants' medical records to determine who had died. There were 4,608 deaths from all causes, as well as from specific causes such as cardiovascular disease, cancer, respiratory diseases, neurodegenerative disease, infection, and injury. Deaths from cardiovascular disease a top killer of women and men in the United States, were the most common cause. Here's where it gets interesting. Participants with gratitude scores in the highest third at the study's start had a 9% lower risk of dying over the following 4 years than participants who scored in the bottom third. This did not change after controlling for physical health, economic circumstances, and other aspects of mental health and well-being. Gratitude seemed to help protect participants from every cause of death studied, including cardiovascular disease. Primary investigator Tyler Vanderweely, co-director of the Initiative on Health, Spirituality, and Religion at Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health, had some thoughts. We know that gratitude makes people feel happier. That in itself has a small effect on mortality risk, he said. Practicing gratitude may also make someone a bit more motivated to take care of their health. Maybe they're more likely to show up for medical appointments or exercise. It may also help with relationships and social support, which we know contribute to health. He also indicated that while the study couldn't pinpoint why gratitude was associated with a longer life, he believed several factors might contribute. Now, this study was observational. It couldn't prove a direct line from gratitude to a longer life, but it does signal a relationship between the practice and longevity. Future studies could extend the results in the male and transgendered populations, as well as people from lower socioeconomic circumstances. Abby and I highly recommend practicing gratitude at every opportunity you get. Even if it does nothing to extend your life, it should make you feel good in the moment and put out positive energy into the world at the very least. All that said, Abby and I would like to extend our own gratitude to you. You've helped shine a light on our 2025 that we didn't expect, but have really appreciated. Thank you especially for listening to all of our guests. From today's episode with the inimitable Nathalie, to our very first guest, Dr. Marco Jacko, to Sonia Chand, advocating for health and hopeful living, to Sarah Rothman-Robbins, to Rachel Ellison, to Dulce Vasquez, to Julia Jacomin and Samin Nadim, to Colleen Kilbride and Evelyn Burrell. We were so thankful to have been privileged enough to share your stories, and we thank you, listener, for listening. Our goal was to share stories of incredible women, and we can't thank you all enough for tuning in and supporting them and us. Of course, we also have to thank our super supporters this year. Dakota Murray, our editor and producer, Lucas Brenner, composer and recorder of our theme music, and Heidi Shikora, the voice of our pod, who introduces us and thanks you on each episode. So it's with gratitude that we close out 2025 and with so much hope to see you again in 2026.
For more information on today's guest, check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks for joining us.